America used to be known for huge rear-wheel drive sedans.
Yes, until the Detroit 3 decided they only wanted to build SUVs and everything else went front-wheel drive.
Well, we drove the V6 Charger, and we noted then it was in a class by itself. Yeah. But now Chevy has re-entered the market with the SS.
And you might be thinking, wait a minute, what about the Ford Taurus? But it doesn't come in rear-wheel drive. Or the Chrysler 300, which comes in rear-wheel drive, but once you trick it out like these, that car's over $60,000.
Well, so we have these two cars, the Charger SRT and the Chevy SS.
Big V8s, 4 doors, rear-wheel drive. This is everything America used to do really, really well. So here we have 4-door American muscle cars, and neither of them were built in the US.
And I'm not expecting either of these cars to be driver's cars. They just have to be fun.
This one is built in Canada with an engine from Mexico. This, of course, is the simply enormous SRT8 Charger. Now, we drove the SXT before. V6 was very impressed with that car because it was an awful lot of car for the money.
The chassis, the body, everything about it, the interior is the same, except for this giant engine.
This SRT weighs 400 pounds more than the SS does. The wheelbase is 6 inches longer, and so is the total length. I mean, Audi A8 big here. There's a menace to this car just when you see it slinking through traffic. Even if you don't think it's a cop car, it looks like it's attacking the road.
Usually on the show, I pick the car that's a little bit more buttoned down, a little bit less extreme. That isn't the Dodge. This car looks like it was sculpted with a hatchet. Look at the scoops on this thing. I have to say, for what this car is and for the market they were going for, Dodge did it right. The Charger is a middle finger to Prius owners everywhere. It's unapologetically a hot rod and a badass American car. People notice this car. Okay, so Todd and I were driving on the freeway. I was in the SS, Todd's in the Charger, and I'm watching sport bike riders just pull up beside this car and wave and give the thumbs up, and they love it. And they looked at me in the SS and maybe they didn't even know what it was. I think one of my favorite things on the exterior of the SRT is the front. It looks so good. It's so aggressive, and you know what this car can do. This car is so big, I guess that's what I like about it. And the interior is no exception.
This is that same interior on the Charger that we drove before. And by and large, I really like it. It's a good looking design. It's still got a weird reflective glass over the main gauges, but everything is very clear, easy to read. The difference between this interior and that lower level Charger is essentially the touch points. The places where you're going to rest your arms, the actual seats themselves, all those materials have improved. But the plastics and the feels lower quality than the Chevy materials.
I think I like the styling of the Chevy better, personally, but I want to be in this car. It almost feels like a truck in here. This would be a great road trip car, I have to say.
Speaking of enormous, these seats are mammoth. They have huge bolsters, they have a couch's worth of padding. These are giant seats. In spite of that, there's still actually a lot of legroom in the back. I mean, this is Audi A8 style rear legroom. It's kind of shocking, but I feel 3/4 scale in this car. That's how enormous it is.
But it fits with the character of this car, and that's what I like about the SRT. Nothing is held back. Listen to that. This car brings out a side of me that doesn't come out very often. This rude, irreverent, sort of almost bullying behavior. I apologize if that was you that I cut off, but man, is this car fast.
That is not kidding. With this amount of power and the easy access, this car wants to go dangerously fast at all times. This Charger has a 6.4 liter Hemi V8. And Dodge is pretty proud of it. In fact, they expect their owners to be pretty proud of it too. Why? Well, because they've put cup holders in the engine bay. I guess you're just supposed to have a beer and set it down and admire the engine. The SRT is that classic American feeling muscle car. It's large, it's proud of it, it has a hooligan nature. I mean, burnouts in this car are as easy as breathing.
Dodge has embraced this to the point of hilarity. There's a G-force instant meter on your instrument panel. They have lap timers and 0 to 60 gauges, all as part of the nav screen. It's like Chrysler is embracing the hoonage. This car makes me want to bury the throttle everywhere I go. Passing on the freeway is a non-issue.
This is only slightly faster than the SS, but it feels significantly faster. Now that probably comes down to the gearing. It's only a 5-speed, and this makes torque really early, so it feels like it's got a lot of power all the time, whereas the SS you have to wind out a bit more. But Dodge has done more than just bolt a big engine to the front. I mean, these brakes are immense. They almost feel like space docking clamps. I mean, you pound on them and they just pull you to a stop much faster than you would think a car this size would be able to accomplish.
They're Brembos at all 4 corners, and for a car this heavy, 4,400-pound car, and it feels like a little sports car. I'm blown away by that.
This one, of course, as a press car, is fully loaded. It has about every option you can get, including adaptive cruise control and sensors on all 4 corners. And as I do a tight road like this, the up-front collision sensor keeps thinking that the barrier or the mountain is a car. And as I go around corners, sometimes it kind of freaks out like, oh my God, we're gonna get in a crash, and it's just the curve in the road.
Chrysler has equipped this SRT with adaptive sport suspension. Not only does it have sport suspension, it firms up the shocks, but it has track mode. It doesn't get smaller the faster you drive it. It almost gets bigger. I can't believe it holds onto corners this well. And I'm about to slide into the door, but the car's hanging on.
You have to dive it for the corner and trust that you're going to get there. It's not nearly as confidence-inspiring as the SS. Now, it does do better than you might think. I mean, this car is still quite an athlete. But it's kind of like making a wrestler sprint. They're athletic, they can do it, it's just not what they were built for.
That doesn't mean it has a lot of feedback. It's completely devoid of information. I'd rather do straight line speed in this car. Hustling these tight corners, there's the possibility you might lose it on a corner, but it makes you kind of want to try to tame it anyway.
But the SRT maintains that sense of fun no matter what it's doing. Yes, it's large, but it has some theater, some character about it that the SS doesn't have.
I have determined this car is Texas. It's big, it's loud, it's kind of arrogant, and it's pretty damn proud of itself, and it serves up giant helpings of everything. And if that's not your cup of tea, if you don't really like that, you might want to get the hell out of its way.
From the looks, to the size, to the way that it feels like it's attacking the pavement and beating it into submission, it has that raw bar brawler attitude about it, and that gets a little bit addictive.
The SRT is more. It's more of everything. Bigger displacement, more power, better brakes. It has adaptive sport suspension. It has more space. And it looks better.
If you're looking for a family hauler with muscle car character, this is your car. American muscle is not our normal thing.
No, it's not. And I came into this review thinking these are probably not going to be driver-focused cars.
Okay, so what
these
are we
are
looking
not
for?
driver machines. These are hot rods.